Hello, guys, and hello, kittens. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me well. I'm really happy that we meet today. And I'm so happy that many of you have joined and the conversation started long before I appeared. And as beautifully Melissa greeted each other, I was reading and she said, like, greetings, beautiful souls. So I am very grateful that you all gathered here because honestly, I need some of your hugs. Thank you so much, Duncan, and thank you so much, Paul, and all the other people who kept buying sponsorship and making our community stronger. I'm really happy to see all of you here. And first of all, I want to thank a fantastic team, Martin and Spencer and Philip and Rudy and Michael. And some of you still haven't heard that I said hello, kittens. I have a tremendous team of friends who also happen to be my moderators, and they love playing various jokes with me. But by the way, after I said that, I read on the news, and many of you know that today, my city was targeted once again, and I'm always grateful when you send these messages. So this will actually sound pretty sad. Like we had another strong attack on Lutsk and dozens of drones, and for a dessert, they sent 3 missiles. No victims, but we cannot say no victims because 2 cats. So that was just like I've been reading it. Anyway, this week was very hard in my city, Lutsk, and I know that many of you know, and you kept sending me messages. And this actually inspired the topic of our today's conversation because literally targeting every Ukrainian city, civilian areas, is not a sign of strength, is not a sign of victory or something like that. But of course, it's a sign of despair. It's a sign of losing. But greetings, William, and thank you so much for buying me coffee. It's a sign of weakness. But it's really scary. So I thought, like, I was happy to describe my city as semi-safe for a very long period of time, and now it doesn't look like one anymore. And this is a new strategy, and I will remind you once again about my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, where I share some of like more longer conversation style words about what I think, what life is like. And there we actually discussed this new strategy of Putin, which is actually based on terror and fear. That is the only thing left. And he hopes that people will feel, a little bit frightened, and that people will start pushing Zelensky to surrender. And it is, not the way it works with Ukrainians. And it's just another proof of why they lost, this blitzkrieg. Because their stereotypes about Ukrainians, I don't know whether they collect some intelligence data or something, but it's definitely not the way we are. And it's very different to the way people react here in Ukraine. Of course, we are afraid during the attacks, but it doesn't mean that we want to surrender. We want to donate money into drones. We want to defeat this evil, because we also understand that without the end of this evil, it will continue, it will come back in a year, in 10. So what Ukrainians want is definitely to defeat and severely demilitarize Russia. And I thought maybe you have some questions about, this attacks from my now very personal perspective. So I may answer some of these questions, and then we will continue talking openly about these problems that we clearly witness in Russia. So I'd be happy if you have. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Heli, thank you, Francois. Thank you, William. Thank you, Melissa. I have quoted one Melissa. And Barbara, thank you so much. Yeah, this is truly important range, and that's exactly how it feels. It doesn't feel, oh my God, Russia is so strong. No, we feel Russia is crazy. Another interesting observation. Can you imagine how much these attacks cost to Russia when they literally don't have enough money to build toilets in their own cities? They do not have resources to repair the roads or something like that. They have to close a lot of initiatives, and they spend billions of dollars on killing Ukrainians, and this does not bring them anywhere. And what you have to understand is, for example, I've told in some of my videos previously that my city is 250,000 people. By the way, let me know in the comments. It's interesting for me to know what are your cities. Are they bigger or smaller? You may not identify the city if you don't want and the exact size, but it's interesting to see in general, because I know there are lots of people from beautiful big cities and lots of people from beautiful villages. And so ours is like 250,000. 250,000. New York. Okay, no questions. London, Canada. Yeah, I know already. London, Canada is a pin in my memory, and always happy to read you. So we have very different 2.3 million in Houston, and at the same Serkan, hello, and don't forget to like, and thank you so much for your sponsorship and support. We have 5,600, 3 million, 350 million, I'm sorry, 350,000, 15,000. You see, we all come from very, very different locations, and very, very different numbers of people. But it's so beautiful that coming from very different backgrounds, we are all united. I hope you feel the same about our community, and I'm always very happy to see how you read, exchange messages, know about each other. So I'm trying to, when I'm naming the size of my city, I want you to imagine how the size, it's not big in territory, it's not just like that wide or so on. And there are a lot of things you can reach on foot, or bicycle is a very good way to travel. So for example, you know that I'm often in Kyiv, and sometimes when attack is happening in one side of Kyiv, you may not hear it in the other side of Kyiv. And with Lutsk, it's different. And if they are targeting one part, you can hear it in the other part. So when we have these attacks, you hear explosions all the time, either closer or far away. And you hear different sounds. And unfortunately, we Ukrainians already know how to identify them. If you want to know more, thank you so much, Jens. Hi everyone, and hi Imre. So you can see on my new channel, I've recorded sounds of war, and I consider it actually one of the very important videos. Thank you so much to Balkan. Happy to see you with us. And I'm sharing my night adventures, with Russian attacks. So the first largest attack ever was on Wednesday, and now on Wednesday night, and now on Friday night. And they always peak this 3 a.m., 5 a.m. And you know that even from this like physiological perspective, some hormonal fluctuations, other things, people are super vulnerable at that moment. Even if you have to go for a train or a plane at that time, you don't feel very well, you feel a little bit anxious. That's, for example, about me. When I have to do something at 3 a.m., I turn out not to be a vampire. It's not my kind of. Thank you so much to Balkane. That's huge. And so with this, like, it starts at 3 a.m. and the previous attack ended at 6 a.m. Thank you so much, Pat, and hugs to you. And this one lasted until 5. So first they send a lot of drones coming from different directions, and you will read in your air raid alert, like coming from the northeast, coming from the southeast, coming from the west, and they are doing it understanding that the city is not big and you don't have a lot of air defense groups. And if you send enough drones, they won't be able to do anything because like you don't have enough people. It's not like every flat that has something to fight. And of course, there are bomb shelters, but like not all the bomb shelters are ideal bomb shelters. Let's be realistic. Many of them are just cellars. And you think, what do you prefer? To stay at home in the corridor? And you know, why do we stand in the corridors? Because this is the rule of 2 walls. Like I have typically when I'm in corridor, so I have my bathroom wall and then my corridor wall, so I'm hidden to some extent, because once again, this does not save you from a direct targeting of a missile. But a lot of people can get trapped in a cellar if it was not designed as a bomb shelter. So it's always just like your personal choice. What do you want to do? I personally freak out when missiles are coming, and I'm afraid of them even more than of Shahed drones, even though Shahed drones can cause a lot of problems. So typically they send like 20, 30, 40 Shahed drones, and then they send, thank you so much, Rudy. Thank you so much. And then they send missiles. And in your air raid alert application, you will have, you will have an alert saying that missiles in the direction of Lutsk, it may be loud in 5-7 minutes. And just imagine, 5-7 minutes, you're sitting in your corridor. And just imagine what you are thinking about. What you are thinking about. This is a very like existential experience. I have to be honest, like no matter how brave you are, no matter what you think, but just like imagine, and you're listening and you're hoping that you will hear air defense and nothing else. Another thing that Ukrainians say that many people, greetings to Norway, Morten. Thank you so much for your support and sponsorship. What is interesting is some Ukrainians already joking that, like, if you hear a missile flying, like, because I know that sound already. When a missile is flying in the skies, I know how does it sound. So if you hear, you are lucky. Because when it flies directly at you, it exceeds the sound actually. Thank you so much, Matt. And you don't hear it. So if you hear it flying past you, it's very unpleasant. It's not good, but it is flying past you. So when you hear air defense working and no further explosions, you're happy. And then in 15 minutes, you get another message, 3 more kinjals flying in the direction. And what I hate is that they, thank you so much, Bivan. Thank you guys for becoming strong members of this community and, giving sponsorship to others. That's superb. And like what I hate, I don't know if you have experienced some kind of, thank you so much, all of anxiety or something. I was like anxious. Anxiety was my problem when I was in my teens, maybe 20s, but right now I forgot about that. And then, greetings to Cambodia. That's so good to know that so many people in very different parts of the world are with us. So when you're sitting and you are reading that apps and you've been asking, like Trivoha application is a popular one. I'm also using Telegram. I don't like Telegram as a channel of communication, but we do get information from it. I never invite people to Telegram, WhatsApp. These are scammers. I never invite you to chat privately. Unfortunately, I don't have time for that. And we exchange emails if it's something like important cooperation or something, or comments is something that I always read, get my advice and inspiration from. So what they keep writing in these apps is missiles coming, and they enumerate the cities or the villages that I know that they have passed, like past Berestechko, past Brode, past something, and you be like, oh, why are you doing this? I already know that these missiles are flying in my direction. And in Kiev, they can actually make, this district that they are passing by. And that is like, insane. And you keep like, stop doing it because it makes you feel even more, it makes you even more nervous. And that's not something. Thank you so much, Tehsin. Thank you for buying me coffee. And actually, that was a joke because in the morning I went to a coffee shop, and typically after such attacks, when you survive, you have this love for your people. To tell you the truth, this is just like super strong. You love everybody on the streets. This is what makes you super happy about everything. And then I come into one coffee shop that I like, and I typically buy my morning coffee there when I'm traveling. And well, not traveling, when I'm just like not making coffee for myself, but when I'm going on fitness in the morning, on after eat, like I like that way they make coffee. And they say, wow, that was a very bad night, but at least so many people buy coffee. So they say, like, there are lots of bad things, but at least we've sold so many coffees today. So you see, like, Ukrainians are transforming it into something. To tell you the truth, just like, and you're buying me coffees, and I feel like, yeah, because if you don't sleep during this, that's the plan. Like, they want to make us exhausted, they want to make us tired, they want to make us frightened, they want to make us miserable. They cannot do it, they are not achieve that. We have a very different mindset, they cannot read it. Thank you so much, Pat, and thank you for being with me all this way. And to Balkane, thank you for this magic. And SFF, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your friendship, for this like virtual hugs or mental hugs, as some of you have been sending me these days. So drones, they produce this very similar to a lone moaner or a scooter sound. And I was like sitting in the corridor, some of the windows open, and there are a million of advice. Thank you so much, Dan Smith. And I actually write about that in the book and elsewhere, that some advice, they contradict each other. Some people say you have to have all the windows closed because if some debris can get in and can hurt you. But if you don't want, sometimes it's better to open windows and doors, because in case of this huge explosion wave, they will not get blocked. Some people say go to the cellar of your building. Others say no, go only to special bomb shelters because you can be trapped in your cellar. So to tell you the truth, there is like a great part of like luck, unfortunately. And it's very unpredictable. And I haven't made up my mind about this. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I haven't made up my mind so far about this fighter groups that are shooting at drones. Because from one point of view, they stop drones from the way they are directed. But from the other point of view, these drones fall where they shoot them. And it's not always the best places. So people here in Ukraine have mixed feelings about that. Plus, if you miss the start of the air raid alert, you don't feel very comfortable going into a bomb shelter if the whole street is in shooting and there are bullets. Sometimes the windows can be broken with bullets of those who are shooting in the Shahed drones. So there are lots of insane things happening, and you do have a lot of things to think about. Thank you so much, H. Tolson. Thank you so much for buying me coffees. Glory to the heroes. So you see, maybe you have some questions, and we will proceed with the more important topic here, why I actually honestly, genuinely see that Putin does not control anything, and that would be a great problem. What do I do to cope with stress? Well, like, it's really difficult. Thank you so much, Duncan. I have a lot of work. I love YouTube. I love writing. I love working. It helps me a lot. It makes my life more meaningful. So I'm grateful to have this opportunity. But when I am waiting for missiles, there is nothing that can distract you from. Like, there are some things that, like, I think it's really good to. It's really good to, like, be realistic and not like pretend that you can think about something different when you don't know what will happen in the next, as they write, 5-7 minutes. Just imagine, just simply, I don't know, when you wake up at night and go to a bathroom, sometimes we do, or to drink water, stop and think for 5-7 minutes. Just imagine. And you know what I was thinking? How insane that is. How insane that is, that like someone, it's not Putin, targets this missile, sends it, and he or she knows it flies this. Thank you so much, Ken. Knows the trajectory it will fly, that it will target someone in his pajama. Thank you so much, Blue Eyes. And I'm a contact lens wearer, and you stand in that pajamas and you think, should I put on my contact lens, or maybe this will last for 20 minutes and I will go back to bed? And then you hear kinjals exploding. So it's all very, very, very unusual, very surreal. And we'll finish with some very, poetic moment. That, like, this was in the morning, because it finishes approximately at 5:36, and it is already dawn here. It's getting light in summer. And the windows were open, like one of my windows, and I was sitting in that corridor during that 5-7 minutes that a missile is supposed to come. Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you. And Pat says that Anna is a brain model. Thank you so much, Pat. Like, hugs. And sitting there, and it was a moment when Shahed were still, some were downed and some were still flying, and so you could not hear them, so it was silent. And you know that some missiles, evil missiles, are heading to your sleepy town. And the birds are singing like crazy, because it's a period when no one is shooting, and they start singing because it's summer, because it's dawn, and you know how loud they sing at dawn. And you hear this bird singing, waiting for a missile to target something, to bring someone death. Because, like, today they did not kill anyone. Like, they did kill 2 cats. But in Chernivtsi, 2 people. During the previous attack, previous attack in Lutsk, a young couple, like in their very early 20s. They planned to get married. So it's insane. Like when you listen to this bird singing in a beautiful July early morning, and you realize that at the same time a missile is flying, and what I cannot understand, what I cannot, to some extent, greetings, Michael, and hugs. What I cannot understand is why so many countries don't want and didn't want to close the skies. What they did to Mariupol is a pure example of genocide. They actually, thank you so much, Rudy. They are preparing to do the same to Ukraine in general, because according to our intelligence, I think that during the summer they will be already able to, they will be already able to send 1,000 drones. For example, these nights, this was 700 drones to Ukraine, and they will be able to send 1,000. Then they will be able to send 1,000 drones to my city, for example. And what do you do with 1,000 drones? Nothing. There is no enough, like anything that can protect you. Thank you so much, Andre. From 1,000 drones. And I honestly do not understand why shooting missiles above the Ukrainian skies is escalation. Because, like, many agree that this is an example of a genocide. This is targeting hospitals, schools, apartment buildings, cars, cafes. So if you shoot something in Ukraine, why is that an escalation with Russia? Because you don't let Russia kill all Ukrainians that they want. And I know that Ukraine has like 8-9 Patriots. And I know that Rzeszów airport has 8-9 Patriots. And I don't wish any of your countries, thank you so much, Blue Eyes. I know that I don't wish any of your countries to need and to use Patriots. But it's so wrong, like, to have dozens of them and not to give them to a country that is being bombed every night and couples being killed, like young children. There is a heartbreaking video about one, like in Ukraine, we have one very famous transplantology surgeon, and he was bringing a transplant heart for a child at night when OK was under attack. And there is a video on BBC how they drive a car and lots of buildings along the road are on fire, but they are in a hurry because they have to bring that heart in time. You know that, like, in transplantology, that is yeah, Jeffrey saw that video. So that's so, like, surreal what we are going through, and it will be very wrong if people, like, stop supporting us and forget about this. This is something that perhaps God will not forgive, not just like anyone else. So of course it's scary. Of course it makes you feel worse. Of course it makes you doubt, or I just, like, when you sit and you imagine, what will you do if your house is destroyed? What will you do if something else? And it's very real. Just I'm just like you guys. Thank you so much, Trev. I'm just like you. I'm not used to this. It's not something that I grew up with. I didn't use to drones flying and trying to target me. I didn't use to these explosions. I didn't use to missiles. It's not something that is just like a part of okay. It's not tigers that always lived in the forest. It's not nature. It's evil people who do that, and it's not just Putin. And thank you so much, Nail, for reminding people to like. We have like 775 likes, and we can make 800. Thank you so much, guys, for all these good things that you write, for all the support, because that matters, and I hope that can change a lot. And greetings, Cheryl. And Putin has to pay, of course, but so many beautiful people. Once again, after such nights, I'm sorry if someone can be angry, like when good people say, uh, like, but Ukrainian spirit. Thank you so much, Gary. Hugs to you. But like, it's beautiful, it's good, but spirit does not save you from missiles. Okay, you're sitting there brave in your corridor with your spirit, but just like patriots save. And like some people, people choose not to, like not to close the skies. That's a decision. That's a decision too. Like to close the skies is a decision, but not to close the skies is also a decision. That is also a decision. And I'm sorry, but when we sit in that corridors and we think about everything, we also think about that. We also think about that. That like we're not a priority at the moment. Um, so, but once again, if you want to survive, you have to be a warrior, and there is nothing left by that. Thank you so much, Hans Olaf, and thank you guys for buying me coffee. Maybe I will need to drink one more today. Plus, I don't know what will be this night. I don't, or like the thing I know is that in the months to come, there will be a lot of that. That's what I know, like 100%. I have no doubts. Greetings to Stockholm. Thank you so much, guys. We feel amazing support from all of you, and we need that a lot. But let's return back to the beautiful topic of our conversation, and that is Putin loses control. And I am sure all of you good people understand that I think there is a good question. Why do you think the world is so apathetic to giving Ukraine the support it needs? Greetings from California. Well, I think, thank you so much, Bevan, that you think about us in New Zealand. That's important. There are lots of airfields all over Ukraine, First of all, I would like to differentiate people and their governments. Unfortunately, in many governments, we have a lot of cowards, people who like talking. And I think one of this like magic about Zelensky is that he is not a professional politician, and he speaks from the soul, and he's not like, he doesn't have this double standards. And unfortunately, many believe that, first of all, many are still afraid of Russia. I'm afraid of that. Others just do not want to have like problems because, someone counted that if you choose like full-scale support of Ukraine, this would be like €2 extra to each person, not more, per month or something. And that would be just like something that we have never experienced. But people don't choose. I don't know why closing the sky above Ukraine is an escalation. I don't know why Poland did not down Russian missile when it crossed its border, and why they consider that downing Russian missile in their space is an escalation. And thank you so much to the Netherlands and to Denmark and to many countries and people in the USA who are fighting against this shift in politics, in policy. That's super important. But every time my region is on attack, I have a question to you, by the way. Every time my region is on attack, and it's really close to Poland, Poland uses its aviation. They ascend all of their fighters and they are flying in the skies of Poland. They do not down missiles above Ukrainian cities because that's an escalation. They don't want it. Okay. Why do you put them in the air? if drones, and this happened, or missiles cross Polish border, they don't down them. But then, guys, can you imagine how expensive that is? What show that is when they like have real missile. They do not shoot it, but they just like show we have aircraft, they are flying, and what? They are burning that fuel. They are burning the money that could have transformed in another Patriot, for example. That's what I don't understand. That's for me, just I sometimes think that maybe I could hear that aviation, and for me it's, I'm sorry, it's silly. Especially after they do not do anything, like fighter jets in the skies, but Russian missiles, no, we know that the Russian missile will turn back and kill someone in Ukraine, so we do not interfere. Then why are you flying? Why are you burning the taxpayers' money? So that's what I don't understand myself too. Okay, let's come back to our beautiful topic, and that is Putin losing control. Tell me, please, for you personally, because I am definitely both subjective and objective, and I'm trying to read a lot, and I am in that news. For me, it's important. By the way, that's the thing that I also read when I sit in my corridor listening to the buzzing sounds. And yeah, how can air defense be an escalation? I don't know. But someone gave that idea. Poland says that it's an escalation. They don't want to fight directly with Russia. Nobody wants, but this is not fighting with Russia. Fighting with Russia is when you target Russia with your missiles. But if you are shooting missiles in Ukraine, it's with Ukraine. It's Ukraine who could have said, like, what are you doing in our territory and so on. This empty demonstration, Sven, is very expensive. And everybody's counting the money they give to save Ukrainian lives, but nobody's counting the money for that empty demonstration. And that is also very expensive because that's a lot. They have way more F-16s or F-35 they don't need. They have way more patriots. Like literally every country that is not at war in the European Union, I'm sure, has more patriots than Ukraine at super war with Budapest Memorandum. So thank you so much for watching and for all this support, and we are almost 1,000 likes. That would be really great. So I do hope that we will develop our own weapons. That's the only way, and that we will keep doing what we need to do and maybe save some of your countries too in the years to come. Thank you so much. And yes, please do influence your decision makers, your politicians. That is not an escalation. That is not something that makes you a bloodthirsty person if you're asking to close the skies. If you're asking for air defense, attention, defense, you're not asking to attack Russia, even though it deserves, just as Nazis. But okay, it's about defense. Close the skies. Don't let them kill people. Where is the escalation? You simply don't let them kill innocent civilians. Have you seen how they targeted the maternity hospital in Kharkiv? Is it okay? Thank you so much, Rotor Max. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, Dave. And I want to ask you a question. When you observe Russia, their present state, like their economy, their military, I don't know, education, there are some serious things happening with this militarization of education and other stuff. For you, how do you think, what is the weakest part of life in Russia right now? What is how do you think? What is, thank you so much, Serkan. And Serkan is right. Don't forget to like, that is super important. So thank you so much, Sean. Thank you. And how do you think? I will quote some of your answers. I like it when we have some conversation. That's what lives are for. So my question, how do you think, what is the most like vulnerable part of modern Russia? What is that, like the economy, their infrastructure? Okay, I got the first answer. Robert says national infrastructure, food cost and supply of products and electronics. And greetings to Turkey, merhaba. The economy, being a slave and knowing it, refineries, being outside of Moscow, yeah, that's a sign of weakness and danger. Their future is without hope, supply lines over Russia, transport. Oh, greetings to Peru. I would love to visit your city and um, now, okay, necesito practicar mi español para hablar más con todos mis seguidores de América y de Europa. Absence of freedom, okay, money, economy. Thank you for your kind words. The mental state of the population, the weakest internet access. Yeah, they do have some serious problems since recently. The children, like the demographics, many say that they steal Ukrainian children to solve their problems with that demography. Cool revolution. I don't believe it's coming. They are so passive. Thank you for your kind words, Jim. And United 24 is a good fundraiser. They are really good. They are like Putin is unraveling. So, first of all, these attacks on cities like mine every night, hundreds of drones. This is super expensive. And taking into account they run out of money, they speak openly about the problems they have there. It is definitely not the best, not the demonstration of strengths. And they those of you who follow the updates from the front lines, I think I should speak about that in the videos to come, might have noticed that there is no great changes on the front lines. Okay, they can get one village, then we can get back another village. For us, every inch of the territory matters, but for them, they use this like scorched earth policy. They drop bombs, they erase everything, and then they get these ashes. But literally, they did not get anything. And if you think about 1 million lost lives, it's nothing. So we may say that this is like this soulmate, what would be. Thank you so much to Balkan. You're a magician. Thank you. And cheers to that. I'm drinking juice. But it looks like, I don't know. Yeah, sure, FSB offices is but a legitimate target. But thank you so much, Javier. And it's just like pretty obvious that they are nervous, and what they do, they want to break the morale. They know nothing about Ukrainians. They build their, like presumptions based on Russian mindset, and our mindset is very different. By the way, guys, on my new channel, and I will beg my troll hunters, my beautiful moderators, to drop a link to my channel, Anna Danilchuk, with weekly updates. And there will be a video today about the dissolution of Russia, but from a little bit a different perspective. And I hope you... guys, questions like, will our demographic problems be solved after the war? We have to win the war. If we lose the war, there is still an option. Or honestly, I like it that, oh, please, and the sheriff has just shared to my a link to my new channel. Do subscribe. There will be an interesting video there. But to tell you the truth, and Rudy shared, but to tell you the truth, like when people speak about like all these conferences, it's necessary. When people talk about rebuilding Ukraine, it's beautiful, it's important. But guys, let's be realistic. Right now, they are destroying Ukraine. They are in active phase of destruction. They are targeting every corner of my country. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We have to save our lives first. We have to save our country. We have to defeat our enemy. We have to demilitarize it. We have to serve, serve justice. And only then we can talk about what will happen after. I don't know what kind of after will that be. So unfortunately, that's another part why it's so difficult, like to live and to plan. You cannot predict anything. You don't know what awaits you. Once again, I'm an optimist. I believe in Ukraine. I think it's very logical. We do everything we can. But come on, if, for example, our allies will keep betraying us and China will fight together with Russia, I hope you understand that. Like, if, for example, Europe will say, we don't know what to do, Trump will remain Trump, and North Korea together with China and Russia will try to kill us, well, they will. They will. There is no like other way than if we are alone or like this half measures. If they will send like 10,000 drones every night, and we will have like 5 Patriot systems once again when just one airport in Poland has 8. So it's not difficult, to guess. And like people keep saying this, boots on the ground, and then no boots on the ground. In North Korea is lots of boots on the ground. So it turns out that, like, I don't know, North Korea is more trustworthy than some of our partners. I've heard one like bad joke in this like Russian Telegram channels that Russia has allies and Ukraine has partners, and that's very different. I don't want to think like that. Once again, it's not addressed to you because you are the best people who care and the best people who spread the word. And I'm always grateful when you share the videos, when you make people subscribe. Poland will not send patriots. Will not. Okay, so many of you named economy, and it's pretty obvious that the problems with economy are very, very visible. And, the fact that on the economic forum, the minister of the economy in Russia, and that is after the minister of transportation in Russia committed suicide. So, he was perhaps pretty under stressed. So in this situation, this minister of economy, thank you so much, Cindiana. Happy to see you. So with all this, guys, there is so much talks about like, we may get Patriot 10 missiles. 10 missiles for Patriot from Trump. Missiles, not Patriot systems. And they are talking about that for months, and we can use these 10 missiles during one night like that in Lutsk. Do you understand? And what I hate is that people pretend they are talking serious. And it's just like you realize they are not talking about 10 systems of Patriots. They are talking about 10 missiles that will be used during one night. Thank you for that. That's good. That's better than nothing, but that's almost nothing. Okay, so with like right now, the solution is inside Ukraine, and we are working hard with these drone interceptors. They are working really good with drone interception. They are still under development. It's something that I have been speaking about my place. Go scroll up and you will hear more about my city and how safe it is right now. With drone interceptors, we will be able to stop more Shahed drones. And right now, many of these interceptors are already tested on the front lines, and they do the job. Like when a small drone flies on the Shahed drone and intercepts it, because, one Patriot missile is super expensive, but Kinzhal's calibers are also super expensive, and the Oreshnik is super expensive, and Russia is way poorer than the European Union or the United States, but Russia is prepared to spend this money. That's the difference. Patriots are not for drones, obviously. Patriots are for Kinzhals. Patriots are for some serious missiles, but they typically give you, like, for example, as last night, they give you like 20 drones and 3 missiles. So, and okay, coming back to the topic, like these drones interceptors, we're testing them, and I hope that in a couple of months you see how dynamic this war. That is another proof why people need Ukraine too, because we have the skills, we know how it is done. And I'm sorry, guys, if you like Pete Hexet, but I watched this video of him with drones in front of Pentagon, and it was very laughable. Even, like, I'm sorry for me, girl, far away from drone warfare, but I do realize it's not like that. And the video is very cringe. That's exactly, it's super cringe. And that drone that brings him that paper, it's nothing. Have you seen Shahed drones? They are bigger than me. That's how they fight. This just like gamers drones, they work, but they work for minor tasks. And like, it's a good solution that they want to start drone warfare, to study. They definitely need Ukraine here, because I doubt that like China will share the secrets. Ukraine knows a lot. We are your ally. We can tell you a lot. And okay, he could have simply announced that, like, we are starting investing in drones because that's the future of the war and so on. That would be good. But he decided, by the way, an air raid alert has just like ended in my region because there was one lonely drone. And you see, I'm just like working. It's like it was just one drone in Lutsk. So I continued working, and now I heard air raid alert, and I thought, oh my God, something new. And that was actually the end. So it was so pathetic. It was so funny. Like, it was not about drone warfare. And it would be much better if he recorded that video somewhere in the room, you know. But he decided to make this video. And okay, it's okay. I'm laughing, but I'm your friend. I'm your ally. I'm even the ally of Hexet, because he stands for the American people. He's not like from North Korea. But I am worried that those North Koreans, even North Koreans, were laughing, and the Chinese. I am worried. So it does not look cool at all. It doesn't look cool at all. It's something like, I don't know, I could film better with Sasha. And we are not Fox TV presenters, you know. So he is a news presenter. So he's supposed to go to make, like, he may be a bad military, but he has to make good videos, and he's not making good videos. That was, I'm sorry, but that was cringe. That was the best word. Thank you for giving it to me as an idea. And remember to like our stream. That would be good. But this hysterics, this hatred, this anger is also the demonstration of problems that Putin and his people experience inside Russia. Those of you who follow the channel attentively might have already noticed that literally every week, dozens of Russian airports are closed, and the airlines are paralyzed, and people have to wait. And they keep spreading all over Russian social media. Poor people have to wait in the airports. I'm sorry. I am sorry. We have to spend lots of our lives in bomb shelters or in corridors hiding from missiles. It's very different than a delayed flight. But it happens in Moscow. It happens in St. Petersburg, in Tula, in Kaluga, in like dozens. Pulkovo, Domodedovo. And this means a lot, because this demonstrates, thank you so much, Darth. This demonstrates, first of all, that Russian air defense fails, but this is also a message to the Russian population. And you know that in these authoritarian regimes, many people actually keep choosing these dictators because they delegate their powers, and they give up all of their freedoms for the sake of stability and for the sake of control and like security or something that they believe. Дякую вам, Вікторія, дуже приємно. So they believe that this is the way it works. And this exposes, first of all, the vulnerability of Russia, the fact that they believed blitzkrieg was possible and they failed and they were unprepared to protect themselves. And these people, they send these messages. Also, you have to understand that Russia is super big, unnaturally big, and do subscribe to my new channel, because the video that will appear today is about this dissolution of Russia that has already started. Actually, we are on the third stage, and I explain a lot and very carefully, and I consider it to be a very, very important video. And you make me happy when you subscribe to that channel and when you watch that videos, because it's a little bit different kind of content, but I consider it super important from this like human perspective. So and Russia is very big, unnaturally big. It's pretty obvious they don't need new territories because they don't take good care of their old territories. And to a great extent, all the money, all the decisions are made around Muscovy and in a very like narrow circle that is on the European side in Europe, and the great part of Russia is in Asia. And for all this bloody circulation of money, for all this mafia conversation and deals, they do need flying and logistics. If they cannot meet somewhere in the Kremlin, if they cannot discuss their criminal things like classical mafia, they will lose this connection very quickly. So this logistics, this ability to fly inside Russia is actually very important. And this demonstrates the most important fact. Putin does not control airspace. Putin does not control. And his friends, oligarchs, his mafia friends, they do understand that it's his failure, because before the start of the full-scale invasion, there were no problems in the airports of Russia. We all know NATO did not plan to attack Russia. Let's be like very realistic. And it's Putin, his decisions, the population that supported him, who brought war back to their airports, back to their regions. Russians are lucky that we fight according to the rules of war and we target legitimate military objects. But when a drone is on the way to a legitimate military object, it's pretty obvious that it's not safe to fly. And I think that after the 3 years of war, it would be very logical to say that Russia is also a no-fly zone. They keep flying, but it seems to be recently did not end with a tragedy. But recently, Belarus shoot an air defense missile in a Russian aircraft because they were worried it's something different. Thank you so much, someone, for buying me coffee. Thank you guys for becoming patrons and sponsors. That's a blessing. And you see, I'm a very responsible person, and now I have 2 channels. So like, you support me and I work 2 times more, but this is my therapy. This is what I like. It does not exhaust me. And sometimes I'm even angry when you say me like, relax. It's really difficult to relax when your country is at war, honestly. Even if you're sleeping on the beach, it's not a total relaxation. You cannot be fully relaxed. And when I'm doing something, I may be like some physically tired. I may start, I don't know, coughing because I'm talking a lot. But it's a good kind of being tired. And when I feel your support, I feel the need to tell more. And I'm very blessed that you give me this opportunity. That's why this second channel appeared, or I prepared some really interesting interviews that I hope will appear on the next on this channel the next week. And I'm grateful that you give me this opportunity. Relaxing voice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I try to be like that. I'm not like a super anxious person, and I don't think there is any like what they want from us to be nervous, to be exhausted, to be angry, to be filled with hatred. And we are different. We're not like that. We are strong. We are determined. I think we actually demonstrate a lot of what correct resilience is. So so, well, like I finished my book, guys. I have negotiations with one person that I like a lot to be a literary agent. It's not in Ukraine, it's outside, but that's always a very long process. So let's hope I will let you know. I will keep speaking about that a lot after it's just like finalized. But at this moment, it does not depend on me. But I kind of hope it will succeed. And so this fact that they cannot fly out of their airports and it's summer, Russians do not feel war. They want, to travel the world, and people who fly, people who want to discuss something in Moscow, they feel that something changed and something changed for the worse. Putin promised that, thank you so much, Bruce, that with this attack on Ukraine, he will make Russia a safer place. But on contrary, he brought war to dozens of Russian regions. And here we come to the next thing that he doesn't control: air defense. We don't have enough air defense, but we did not want this war. We were not preparing for war. Come on, the United States and the Great Britain, when we signed, and Russia, of course, when we signed the Budapest Memorandum, thank you so much, Greg, were persuading us we don't need any arms. Stay safe, we guarantee your security. And now the White House erased that page from their webpage. That's just like, whoa. So I have just answered a question about the book. You can scroll up if you missed that. So we were not preparing for war. It's our mistake. But Russians were preparing for war. Russians were preparing for war for decades. And they were so arrogant, so self-confident, that they only imagined this war in Ukraine, in Georgia, maybe in the Baltics, maybe in Moldova. They could not imagine they will need air defense systems in Russia. That is what we demonstrated to them. And that is what that is how they made it. So airports, now air defense, and inability to protect the strategic objects, because these military air bases, plants like MiG, I've told you about yesterday, some arsenals, oil refineries. And what is important, we target many of these objects twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's not because like we do not succeed the first time. You have to understand, if you target a Shahed drone factory, for example, a lot of things explode. For example, hundreds of these evil drones burn. Then for 2 or 3 months, the factory is not working. Then they start reconstructing it and we return. This is how it works. And knowing that we know the way, that we know the location, they are not able to protect it. For example, they have a huge facility for the production of drones in Tatarstan, and we keep demilitarizing it. And I'm sure we will continue, because that's the only way to save innocent lives. So we have airports, air defense, strategic objects, and of course, economy. On the Air Economic Forum, Minister of Economy, knowing that the previous one was demilitarized, neutralized, or something like that, spoke openly about the start of the recession in Russia. And if they say this, it means it is already happening, and all in front of Putin. And Elvira Nibulina, I know Philip is not a fan of hers, but many considered her to be an evil genius that helped the Russian economy to keep afloat. She says, Putin, that resources are exhausted. And if we keep pushing, if we impose more sanctions, this could actually help a lot. Because the collapse of the Soviet Union was fueled by very unnecessary, very wrong war in Afghanistan with the resources. I have to quote Brigitte, who says Lavrov kissed Kim. I wouldn't surprised. Sometime soon Lavrov will need to do more because they are super dependent on North Korea, and the kiss alone won't help, and Lavrov will be prepared to do that. I'm sorry, you know, I loved how someone described on X, by the way, follow me on X, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on Threads. I want our communities to be strong there too. If you are there, find me there, join me there. I always leave these links in the descriptions of videos, and I'm really happy when we are together. Hola, Jose. So with on X, I read someone speaking about Lavrov and saying that, wow, like describing Russia as a satellite country of North Korea. And that was so funny because indeed, it becomes a satellite country of North Korea. Now, Russia is dependent on North Korea. Will North Korea give more soldiers? Will North Korea give more missiles? Ukrainian armed forces report that 40-50% of the ammunition they use is produced in North Korea. Toilet paper tiger, used toilet paper tiger, yeah. So economy and military production, right? That's, by the way, another pillar that is ruined inside Russia. So literally, Putin, let's enumerate. Let's like finish our meeting today with the enumeration of, I say a phrase, you continue, and I will read, and then I will sum up from my perspective. When we say that Putin does not control, and you write what Putin does not control from your perspective, and I will read that. Putin does not control. So let's speak about that. And thank you to all of you who buy t-shirts and other stuff in the merch shop. I have the updates. They do work as reminders, conversation starters and reminders about Ukraine. And I love it when you tell me how you speak about Ukraine. Putin does not control transport in Russia himself. His inner circle would be interesting to see. Of course, he does not control Ukraine. That's good. Russia itself, perhaps. Russia just don't know that. Do subscribe to my new channel. The video is coming. Strengths of a fool, that's for sure. That's for sure. And of course, Putin does not control Rudy. Of that, I'm sure. The world economy and his war bloggers either, and war in general, I think he does not control. I think he gets a lot of lies about the front lines and other stuff. Greetings to cats and kittens from our favorite Bastader. Friends and kittens, you choose friends and kittens, but kittens can also be friends. And friends can also be kittens. That's a very existential question. He no longer controls the narrative, that's true. So I will sum it up as I see it. First of all, he does not control the borders of Russia. That was a huge surprise for Putin himself, for his generals, for Russia, and many of these ministers and governors actually went out of the window or neutralized themselves in the cars because of that. So Putin does not control borders. Putin does not control airspace, like airports is not working, airlines is collapsing. Putin does not control the Russian economy. Putin does not control air defense. Putin does not control strategic objects. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you. I will read the message, and I'm very grateful for your continued support. So this airspace, literally everything. And in Russia, they trade their freedom for security, so-called security, for people who don't want anything, who don't want freedom, who don't want anything. They feel this stability, security, and they give it for the strong hand and control. And when they realize there is no control, this may be a start of the fall and the dissolution. So do remember. Thank you so much, Greg. And I love all of you. And you cannot imagine how important for me to know that you're here. I've told you already that during this era to distract myself, I often go into our comment section and I read it and I think, you got to be strong. There's people trust you. There's people believe in you. So inflation, so many good things. a lot of things that he doesn't control and liberate Siberia. And that is why, Russell, you're just obliged to watch the next video that will come on Anna Danilchuk channel. And then on this channel, there will be one more vlog where we will discuss very good updates. Russians decided to dismantle, to destroy, to scrap the only aircraft carrier which was previously the symbol of the Russian Navy. And it seems like finally they believed that all of the Russian Navy is a scrap metal, and they finally started treating it like the one. So, my beautiful people, I'm very grateful that you've spent this evening, day, morning, maybe night with me. I'm super grateful to Martin, Rudy, Spencer, Philip, Michael, and all of you good friends who joined. And you cannot imagine how important this community to me, and always feel free to express your thoughts, provide your ideas. I'm so happy that many of you have become friends, follow each other, get updates from each other. That is such a blessing, and this makes my life more meaningful. So thank you so much for that. Remember, there will be 2 more videos coming, one on my new channel, another one here. Watch them, share them. That is the easiest, but I'm not exaggerating, extremely important and effective way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. Thank you to all the coffees. Thank you to all the patrons and sponsors for making our community stronger. You know I love you. So united we stand. We have to stay залишаємось сильними, as you've said. This is super important. Thank you so much for your friendship and for our community. United we stand. Slava Ukraini!